In-N-Out has been one of the most popular fast food chains in the United States. But what makes it so special? Why do people love it like a cult? And why does its menu has only 3 items? Today, we're going to talk about the most conscientious fast food chain in America, dubbed the It Spot for burgers and famous for its secret sauce and secret menus, In-N-Out. It's more compelling than you think. The story of In-N-Out begins with the company's founders, Harry and Esther Snyder. Harry served in the Army during World War II and became a caterer of baked goods after the service. Meanwhile, Esther was a surgical nurse in the women's branch of the Navy, who found work as a manager at the restaurant where the two met each other. After witnessing the boom of fast food restaurants in the 1940s, the newlyweds were inspired to open one of their own. So in 1948, the couple opened the first In-N-Out at Baldwin Park, just down the street from Harry Snyder's childhood home in the suburbs of Los Angeles. At that time, there were a lot of competitions in the quick service industry in Southern California. For example, McDonald's and Carl's Jr. both started in the 1940s. But Harry thought of 2 ways to differentiate his restaurant from the competition. First, he believed in fresh ingredients, and every day before dawn, Harry would leave the house early so he could be the first one to get to the supermarket and pick the freshest ingredients. And secondly, Harry was the first one to create a drive-thru experience as we know it today. I know it sounds surprising, but back then most quick service restaurants were using the car hop model instead of a drive-thru. For those who aren't familiar with the concept, car hop was a popular restaurant service in the 1940s where car hops would bring food to people in their cars. They would skate to the cars and take the order, and then bring the food on a tray that would hook onto the car window. Initially, car hop became popular for its speed and efficiency because restaurants were able to serve more customers in a shorter amount of time. Especially in the 1940s when car culture was booming and there were a lot of new car owners. However, because more men were called up for duty during World War II, more women became car hops. Young, attractive car hops wearing short skirts and roller skates added a touch of excitement to going out to eat. And it soon became an important element of American pop culture in the 1940s. However, car hop worked well when cars were few and far away from each other in the parking lot. But as car ownership became more widespread, the drive-thrus began to replace car hops. The main reason for this is simple: convenience. It's much easier to pull up to a window and give your order than it is to wait for a car hop to come to you. In addition, car hops are also more prone to accidents, which could be costly for business. Ultimately, drive-thrus simply proved to be more efficient than car hops, and they quickly became preferred option for customers looking for a quick meal on the go. With the combination of the drive-thru model and Snyder's simple goal of giving customers the freshest, highest quality foods you can buy, their humble burger store started to gain traction. However, unlike its competitor McDonald's, In-N-Out didn't expand to a second store until about 2 years later. The potential for explosive growth of the chain was tempered by the Snyder's focus on strict quality control, both in terms of the restaurant's experience and of course the food. This is a common theme in today's video. It was critical to the Snyders to retain control of each location in order to maintain their high standards as In-N-Out Burger's norm. The fast food chain had just 5 outlets in the first 10 years, and eventually grew to 18 restaurants over the next 28 years till 1976, when Harry Snyder passed away from lung cancer. Harry's son Rich, who was 24 years old at the time, assumed the role of president. Having worked in the restaurant all of his life and learned the business from ground up, Rich began to grow the fast food chain at unprecedented speed, opening more than 90 outlets in the next 20 years. However, even when this rapid expansion, In-N-Out remained in California, and Rich was against franchising as much as his dad. He believed that outsourcing the brand purely for growth was a disgrace to his parents. Even though Rich Snyder expanded In-N-Out Burger a lot faster than his dad did, one thing he would not change after taking over the company was its menu. During the 20-year tenure as the company's president, Rich only added 1 item to the menu: a lemon lime soda. The decision to stick with the original menu was unusual for a fast food chain, yet it was necessary because Rich was concerned that changing it would affect the quality of food and service. It's hard enough to sell burgers, fries, and drinks, right? And when you start adding things, it gets worse. Rich Snyder said in an interview with Forbes in 1989. Anyone who's ever been to In-N-Out knows that the menu is pretty straightforward. There are only a handful of items on the menu: double, a double cheeseburger, hamburger, french fries, coffee, pink lemonade, iced tea, sodas, and milkshakes in vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry. And that's it. Or that's what's listed on the menu anyways. In reality, there's a whole secret menu that's only available to those in the know. Some of these off-list items are variations of the regular menu items, while others are completely new creations. So what's on the secret menu? The most commonly known are the 3x3 and the 4x4, which consist of 3 or 4 sets of patties and cheese in one burger. You can also ask to make your burgers protein style, which means they'll switch out the buns and replace them with lettuce. But the most famous not-so-secret item are the animal-style fries, topped with cheese, sautéed onions, and special sauce. And if you haven't ordered it yet, you haven't had the full In-N-Out experience. Of course, these items have become an open secret, so they've included them on the official website as the not-so-secret menu. But they also have an actual secret menu, with items such as the Flying Dutchman, which consists of only 2 slices of beef and 2 slices of cheese, with no bread, lettuce, onion, or sauce, and also cheese fries, which are simply fries topped with melted cheese. You can also choose to mix 3 types of shakes together, which makes it a Neapolitan shake. In-N-Out used to have no restrictions on how customers could customize their order, but as it turns out, some people exist just to push limits. In 2004, a customer ordered 100 times 100, which means 100 patties and 100 slices of cheese. And this was then posted on social media and caused quite a stir. Since then, In-N-Out put a cap on the patty craze to a maximum of 4x4. As you can see, the burger chain keeps the menu short to maintain quality control, while at the same time allows a not-so-secret menu to circulate through the word of mouth. At the same time, Rich Snyder remained true to his parents' goal of serving only the freshest food available. In-N-Out strongly advocates that their ingredients don't come frozen or prepackaged, so much so that their locations don't have microwaves or freezers. All orders were made to order, contributing to what some in the food industry considered a long wait for a fast food hamburger. As for the burger patties, they're made from beef shoulder cod, which are transported to the central kitchen. The butcher then processes the cut by hand, grind them into patties until they're distributed into individual chains. The lettuce is also hand-torn, while the bread is made from handmade dough that undergoes 6 to 8 hours of fermentation. Their fries are made from Kennebec potatoes that are exclusively grown in Southern California and are said to be the ideal potatoes for frying. These Kennebec potatoes are shipped to the store in a large burlap sack, then staff hand cuts them into fries, and just like that, they're ready to be fried. To keep its ingredients from spoiling or losing its freshness, all In-N-Out locations are located within a 600-mile radius from the central kitchen. And that's why almost all of In-N-Out's locations are on the west coast of the United States, and we don't see them on the east coast. And its good food quality has gained good feedback from its consumers. For example, Adele has publicly said that her favorite fast food restaurant is In-N-Out. And after winning 2 Grammys in 2009, she skipped the after party and headed straight to the In-N-Out on Venice Boulevard. And it's not just her. In 2019, Market Force conducted a survey and found that the In-N-Out is the most popular burger chain in the US, ranking first for 3 consecutive years with 73% satisfaction, and having the best experience and highest loyalty among customers. At the bottom is McDonald's, with only 28% satisfaction. In addition to quality control and customer satisfaction, there's one more thing that set In-N-Out apart from its competitors. Its employees, called associates internally, are paid significantly more than the industry average. According to a survey conducted by the California Sun, In-N-Out managers can earn an average of $160,000 a year, which is 3 times more than the manager in other companies in the industry. As for In-N-Out's part-time employees, their hourly wage starts off at $13, which is higher than the average $11 in other fast food joints. Part-time employees can work up to a management position with good performance, even without a post-secondary degree. The company also offers benefits like health insurance and 401k plans to its employees. In-N-Out's commitment to paying its employees a livable wage has helped to create a loyal workforce. It's one of the reasons why the chain has been so successful. At the end of the day, quality service only comes from quality employees who get quality compensation. So why don't other fast food chains do the same if this will benefit the company? While other fast food chains like McDonald's or Burger King's are all public companies or owned by public companies. As a result, they need to publish financial reports every single quarter to be scrutinized by their shareholders. In-N-Out, on the other hand, remains to be a private company and has no such pressure on profitability from its shareholder. Today, In-N-Out has over 300 locations in the United States, but it still stays true to its founder Harry's mission, providing the freshest, highest quality foods and service for a profit, and a spotless, sparkling environment whereby the customer is the most important asset. So there you have it. This is Money Therapy, a channel about money. If you want more stories like this, be sure to subscribe to our channel. See you in the next one.